Hello everybody, and welcome to Wartales. What is Wartales, you may be asking? Well, good question. Wartales is a tactical, turn-based mercenary RPG game set in a medieval world. Doesn't that kind of sound like Battle Brothers? Yeah, a little bit. I think it's a little bit more like XCOM D&D than Battle Brothers in terms of how it plays, but aesthetic-wise and lore-wise, it's really similar to Battle Brothers. But considering I love Battle Brothers, XCOM, and D&D, this is a great game. It's just come out of early access this Wednesday the 12th, and is now on Steam for full purchase. What's really cool for me is I played this game back with the demo back in December of 21, in the ye old days, and recently, I liked it, and then Shiro Games, the developers, reached out to me and were like, "Hey, Carve, do you want to make some videos about Wartales because we're leaving early access?" I'm like, "Sure." So, disclaimer: I am being sponsored for this video and a couple more that are coming out this week. But so I just want to ethically and legally, state that. But this game is really fun, and I'm actually really excited to be bringing out some videos on this. So right now, I just want to talk about how to get started in the game and kind of what you're doing, so you know where to go. I think the game is supposed to be pretty challenging, and thus you might just get your ass kicked right in the beginning. So we're going to take a little bit of an unorthodox approach to this, though. I think most people, you're going to look at the game, you're going to be like, okay, you're going to click the new game button, and you're going to look at all this stuff, and you're like, alright, my companions are whatever, and you're like, influence, raw materials, crowns, medicine. I mean, I guess crowns looks like money, I get that. Suspicion, bread, happiness, what even is this stuff? What are my starting companions? I'll just pick one of these randomly. Oh my gosh, what is this? I have no idea what critical damage. I know what that is, and rest. You're like kind of confused, or you're just looking through all this stuff. So what I want to do is I actually want to load up a current save that I have and just go through the overworld real quick. We're gonna go through the overworld. I'm gonna tell you what everything is. And then once we understand what everything is, we can then go back to that start screen and we can pick something kind of intelligently. Because the first time I started, it's the same thing with Battle Brothers, right? When you start the game and you're like, I have no freaking clue what's going on. So it's important to kind of understand these things. And it's really a lot more intuitive than you might think. Alright, so please excuse the graphics. I'm on low just because my computer sucks. The game actually looks really good. Normal. But, with all my recording software and my, 8-year-old PC, I've turned some things down to low, so apologies. But, this is the game. You're the people in the beginning, or in the middle, obviously. We have some little resources on the bottom. Here is like a location. I just cleared this out. You have other parties on the board. Again, we can see some similarities to Battle Brothers in this sense, but I want to kind of not make all the comparisons there, because again, I think it sounds kind of clickbaity to be like, it's just like Battle Brothers, that's what everyone's been saying. So let me pause this, and we can take a look at the screen. This is pretty normal to us, though. We have an inventory here on the bottom, we have a character menu up on the top, number of characters here, general bonuses to all of our people. This is knowledge, which is XP you get from exploring the world. This is the fate of the region we're in. We're in Tiltrin region. So this is like the kind of little Act 1, you could say. Suspicion meter is like, your GTA wanted level. Happiness here is the general mood of your troops. And then we have influence, which is kind of like renown, and you can spend renown. We have valor points, which we'll talk about when we talk about combat. But these are kind of like little action points you can spend in combat for better skills, as opposed to just using your base skills all the time. Kind of like in D&D, where you might have one use per long rest, kind of like that. Food, obvious. Crowns, obvious. Bunch of mumbo jumbo in your inventory. We have a camp. We can talk about camp later. We have the inventory here, world map. Looks like this. It's got some quests on it, the little markers and whatever. I don't think you can fast travel. We have this compendium, which is just where you spend your knowledge points. and it's got a bunch of different things. We have these paths here, which are different extra bonuses that you can get from kind of playing the game passively. And then let's just take a quick look at the character menu, like what a character looks like. So you got a name. You could customize the look if you want. We have HP and armor. HP is just straight up HP. Armor comes from your actual armor, and then if you have a shield, we have guard, which is, as you can read here, reduces the amount of incoming damage. So that comes from, either more armor or a shield, or like a regular kind of ability there. We have some extra little bonus slots, like you can do little things with them here. You have a profession, so like you have like angler, like a fisher, a tinkerer, or a cook, or a thief, or an alchemist, or a blacksmith, or a miner. And so each guy, when you end up having more people, you're gonna specialize each one to have different professions. Just so you can have someone, because there's a crafting system, because this is an RPG, right? So this is how this is all going to work. And each one gives you a little bit of a bonus. So Tinker gives you some critical hit chance. Alchemist gives you some dexterity. Thief gives you some dexterity. Blacksmith gives you strength, right? And then, if we look at some stats, like these are pretty normal things here. So like strength, dex, con, willpower, which is like resolve, critical hit chance, movement speed, wage, how much food you eat, and carrying capacity. Like, I don't think we really need to go over these. We have abilities. You have your normal basic ability. So in this person, it's like cleave, or in this guy, it's like stab, or this guy, it's shoot. Then you have little extra abilities. And this little thing here is your valor points, right? So again, if you get your little like pip, you can spend a pip to do 16 to 23 damage, which is like better than the 14 to 23 damage here, right? So again, kind of obvious how this works. Leveling up people requires experience. We have base attributes here, and then you can specialize. There's a bunch of paths and whatever. But this is an intro, guys, so we don't need to get all too prescriptive there. So looking at knowledge, you get little crafting recipes per your profession, but you also get this general knowledge one here. And this is like just passive abilities to make your team better. Like you can run, so you move faster on the map. You eat less food. You can level up a little bit more easily, or, you pay less money. So these are all things that you just try and spend throughout the game. And then finally, paths. These give further of those kind of bonuses, so like run duration, or you're less prone to injury, or here you're like more valor points, or, you can get better stats from crafting. So again, and things like this, complete missions, forge stuff, spend valor points, I don't know, what's like win ambushes or steal stuff. Like very passive things you'll get throughout the game. And that's kind of how that works. So now this is a very general, broad overview of what your game is going to look like. So let's go back now to the main menu. And now when we pick a team, we'll kind of know what we're talking about. All right, so we're going to load up new game. And then we have the 5 options here. So let's just, right now I'm just going to pick one of them. We have boons. These 4 boons are all the same, and the 5th boon is dependent on your type of party. And then so let's just pick one of these at random. Same, these first 4 debuffs are all the same, and the 5th one is dependent on the party. So well, I'm only going to go through these things once, but just know that they're all the same. So starting with influence. So you get influence from, fighting things and kind of playing the game. Raw materials are basically tools from Battle Brothers for repairing armor. So you're starting with a little bit of extra influence and -5 tools. This is basically a short-term annoyance debuff and a not very influential, pun intended, buff. So kind of here or there. This one, 150 crowns. Medicine is, as it kind of sounds like, if someone gets injured, you spend medicine on them. 2 medicine is worth less than 150 crowns, so you technically get a buff to crown, or a bonus to crowns. If you just bought the medicine, you'd maybe get like, 60 crowns left. But you have to actually go and buy it. That's kind of annoying. So you're really getting like 60 crowns here. This one, 50 suspicion. You're probably not going to run into people. 10 raw materials. This is actually pretty good, all things considered. This one here, happiness. You will get happiness going forward, and food because again, this is an RPG, so we have to eat. Food's pretty useful, so this is actually not bad for bonuses. And then this one, stolen items. Stolen food doesn't matter because you'll just eat it when you rest and camp, so it doesn't matter. And when you craft, it doesn't matter that cloth is stolen. So if you're trying to sell these things, that would be annoying. And you're going to have like a little bit of a bounty because you have stolen items. But, yeah, like, whatever, right? So let's kind of talk about the classes now. So we have Swordsman, Ranger, Archer, Brute here. I think it's best if we go and just kind of pick at random and look at, yes, expert, free, kind of look at, like, a real character. So Ranger is your like rogue class. So you start with a dagger, and then you get a utility ability. Swordsman is either like a tanky with like a shield, or you get the big cleave sword. Archer is, oh, let's be real, an archer. And then we have kind of tanky hammer guy, or brute with big hammer. So I think it's best to start the game with one guy with a shield. The Brute, I think, is pretty baller with the shield, because him and the Swordman tend to be pretty defensive units. So I would probably run like this, keep this guy with the 2H sword, archer, and then dagger. And then you got your little pony in the back. So how does this actually work then when you're picking things? Well, so you have your starting weapons. Again, just pick someone with a shield, and then everybody else can be DPS. You'll find more dudes, and that will be okay. You have your utility. And your utility is kind of your secondary backup ability. The standard one everybody gets is First Aid. This is obviously really good. There's a lot of poison and bleeding and burning in this game, and they don't end. Like, these conditions do not end unless somebody ends them with this ability, which I think is kind of annoying, but I guess it makes sense. If you're on fire, the fire doesn't just go out by you walking around swinging a sword at people. So, consequently, you want somebody with first aid on your team. But notice, you can't do that if you're engaged in combat, so your tank is probably going to be engaged in combat. So I probably wouldn't put this on the tank. We have Taunt, which is pretty good. I like this. The Brute gets a better version of Taunt during one of his specializations, so I maybe wouldn't pick this on him. You get Wrath, which we can read it right here. It does a little bit of damage, about the same as your regular attack. If you kill somebody, you get damage increase. Again, this is a tank, so I wouldn't care that much about any of these. I would probably pick First Aid, just in the case he's like not either First Aid if you're not going to pick the Taunt ability later on, or Taunt if you are. The Archer gets Run. I think the Archer really has only one choice, which is this one. He gets double range and double accuracy, and like more accuracy. Like, there's no reason to ever pick anything else really, because you're a ranged character. So if you can't hit anything on your turn, like, you suck. So nice. Swordsman. Either one of these, like, you know, Taunt or First Aid. I don't think Fury is particularly good. It's like about the same as your regular attack, but I just use my regular attack, right? So I'll just, you know, pick First Aid. Rogue gets Fury again, which I still don't think is very good from the last character. First Aid, useful. Rogue doesn't really get engaged that much, because, you know, he's running around all the time. I like the Rogue has a nice ability, Run, which is just disengage, so you don't take an opportunity attack. So we can do something like that. And then we have traits as well. So if you pick a random, you get none. You can pick one of them, and then you actually choose. So I would almost always choose a trait. You can, you know, kind of pick through what you want it to be. They're good for different things, right? Like, you wouldn't want strength on a rogue, you'd want dex on a rogue, right? You can get a second positive trait, and you can go random on that, or you can pick that again. So you could pick something here, and that's fine. But if you get a second positive trait, you get a negative trait. And I would never go random on your negative trait unless you're trying to do try hard. I would definitely pick one. The negative traits are actually pretty bad. Extra food really sucks. +3 wages sucks. Professional experience sucks. Regular experience sucks because the game is going to get a little bit grindy later, and we don't want to make the game slower. Critical hit reduced by 3. That's kind of okay. Carrying capacity reduced by 3. I don't like that too much. Willpower reduced by 2 is bad. Must consume alcohol with every meal to be happy is also bad. If you have a steady source of alcohol, this is fine. like if I was to pick any of these, I'd probably just pick lazy. Alright, yeah, I don't know. On like your tank, you could pick reduced crit chance, but even still, like most of these are pretty bad. So I would maybe just do pick one and none, you know. One thing you should always pick though is you can actually pick the stuff on your pony. So you want to pick increased carrying capacity on your pony. This is a 100% pick every single time, and then you're going to want to pick increased constitution on your pony because that gives it more carrying capacity later. And then you pick like freaking depressed pony. I don't care if my pony is depressed; it's not going into combat ever, right? Or my critical hit chance on my pony. I actually couldn't give less of a crap about if my pony has critical hit chance. So min-max your pony that way. Everybody else, again, I'm not trying to be super prescriptive here. We're just trying to go through things normally. We can load up some of the other ones. Warrior Spearman. Again, let's just randomly pick some things here. Warrior is kind of a more offensive version of, like, if we have the Brute, which is the hammer guy, is probably the most defensive. Swordsman, a little bit more offensive. Axeman is most offensive. I would probably, if you're going to get an axe, just go with the two-hander. Same kind of utility as the other ones. Spearman is a polearm guy. He's pretty cool. Look at this. He does basically double damage if used from a distance, and you have a range of 3 meters. So there's no way you would ever engage with this guy. So you're going to do actually a lot of damage. Consequently, if you're not engaged, I would never pick this because you're going to not be within range. You would just be doing this. And this is actually less damage. This is good because he's not engaged, right? Because he's using a polearm, so he's like 2 tiles away. So you could almost always use first aid. And I would not use run. Why would you disengage when you can just hit somebody, knock them back, disengage them with your own damaging attack, and then run? So pretty obvious to me to pick first aid on that. So that's kind of the way there. And again, you'll figure out what way works, but that's just the general kind of thing. In terms of the best kind of bonuses here, I think this one is the best. Experience gained and influence gained. And here's why, is because this game is long, right? Like, you're building a party of people. So getting 10% experience is 10% less grind. I don't really care how long the grind is or isn't with like these balance patches, but there is a grind. Like Battle Brothers has a grind, D&D has a grind. 10% experience is going to be so much more useful than a lot of these other things, I think, in the long run, because most of the game is just playing the game rather than the individual actions where 10% crit damage is going to help you. That's like 2 out of 4 extra damage, right? But you're saving yourself real life time, and that's, I think, more useful. Similarly, a lot of these debuffs, like, this doesn't matter too much, but I think, personally, the one I would just pick this. Each companion's carrying capacity is decreased by 1. So if you have 4, you start with 4 fewer carrying capacity points than you would otherwise. But remember, we're min-maxing our pony to get, like, +3. So this is just canceled out by min-maxing your pony. Even if you don't have that min-maxing your pony strategy, 1 carrying capacity is way much less detrimental than like reducing your crit chance. Because over time, I mean, you're only losing a crit like 1 out of every like 30 attacks, right, or something. They're really small, but eventually that'll kind of add up. Whereas like 1 carrying capacity, who freaking cares? Like, just start dropping crap loot. That's how that would go. So let's, I don't even know what I'm picking at this point, but let's go expert free, and let's just start one of my archer, ranger, swordsman, brute. Yeah. Let's start with what I would actually use. We're not going to min-max too hard because this is, of course, the starting adventure. But we're going to go in through the tutorial fight and then show you guys how combat in this game works, again, very briefly. This is just meant to be a general overview. Alright, we begin. We always have the same starter fight here, which is 2 like bandits and a poacher. And it's not going to be very hard. So we're going to try and win this using the least amount of damage taken possible. you will take damage in this game. It's very important to note that there is no real hit chance in this game. You just hit and get hit, and therefore it's not a matter of like melee defense. It's a matter of damage soaking and target selection. So that's why it's good to have a tank character, because this guy, he's got double the armor of everyone else, right? So, you know, if you're doing, we can actually click on this guy. So he does 6 to 7 damage. So he's going to break the armor of anybody else in one hit, whereas this guy can actually kind of tank it a little bit. So that's why, eventually, if you start buffing some dude's armor up, that's way more impactful than trying to, you know, just buff HP on everybody. Really cool about this game is you can actually pick the order in which you go. So I have 2 dudes, and then it's this hoodlum, then it's one of my dudes, this hoodlum, one of my dudes, and then this poacher. And you can highlight exactly where everybody can move, which is great to know. So this guy can reach, like, theoretically, if he was to go first, I would just go here, and he wouldn't be able to do anything on his entire turn. He can't reach me, right? Really good to know what order it is. So let's think about the way I'm going to do this. So this poacher is going to go, this dude's going to go second. So we would theoretically want to stop this guy. We can spend 2 dudes on hitting him. So let's do that. Alright. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to run my tank up to here. Actually, I'm going to run my tank up to here. And I'm going to smack, and I'm going to taunt him because he's not going to die. So he's going to do damage to me. Alright, so guys, weakened, boom. So he's going next. We're going to run up. Rogue gets double damage from behind. Stab, and turn. He's going to attack me. He did trash damage. Okay. This poacher is going to go soon. So what I want to do is I want to actually move you this way and hit, if I can highlight the enemy, hit the enemy and turn. Hoodlum runs. He's going to start backstabbing me, but we're going to kill this guy first. What I want to do, having this poacher go last was incredibly important because now I can just walk onto the poacher, and he's effectively out of the fight now because he's, you know, gonna punch me. Yeah, that he crit for 3, like, good stuff. So I don't care at what order this poacher goes. These 2 are just gonna 1v1 and I'm gonna kill him. So first things first is we're gonna have this guy violent. It's not violent because we put him behind a tree, right? All right. Walk behind. Get the surround bonus there. Again, he does 1 damage. Completely irrelevant to me. Pound. And here. Shoot. And cleave. And turn. Stabs me. We do need to kill this guy. Alright, so he's gonna go again. That's the hoodlum. So 8, 9 to 11. Good. Save our buddy. No, we absolutely want to kill him. Right. Want to highlight and smack. I don't know why it's not letting me. That's kind of annoying. I have to hit my own dude. Strange how sometimes it doesn't let me. Alright, we're gonna unfortunately end, as we cannot afford to stab our own dude. Though we can use this to hit him and kill him like that. Boom. Right? There you go. So a little bit of mistakes there. Probably should have moved the brute a little bit farther away from the cleave guy, so I don't cleave my own dude. But that's life. Loot. We can repair armor. There's a quick, easy button right there. Continue, and we can level somebody up. So again, you can pick. There's 3 different kind of things. We can read through them. Disengage and charge, poison attack, or this is better taunt. This is that weakening ability that taunt has, but it does damage, so I'm going to pick this. And you can level up strength, you can level up willpower. At 15, you actually get like kind of 9 lives. So I'll double up, because since we got double willpower, I'll pick double willpower. Woohoo! Alright, and that's the first battle. Not that hard, right? You know, the game is going to actually get kind of challenging, but at the beginning, that's really it. And then you're going to go and you're like, oh, let me click on the map and like walk over to here, and you'll keep walking to the signpost, and you'll play everything, and you'll keep going. And I'll talk all about that in future videos, but I just wanted to make a very, I know it's not super brief, but kind of brief intro video to Wartales, so you know what you're doing. And you can pick the game up now, of course, because it's actually on Steam, and I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about it soon. Let me know if you guys have any questions, and I'll be out with more videos in the future. Peace out. Have a nice day.